What if I came to you back in July and I held up this picture and I said, this will be your starting lineup for the 2023-2024 NBA season? You probably would have punched me. Well, here we are.
Did you guys really think when we were up 19 in the fourth quarter that we were going to just cruise to an easy opening night win? No. Of course. Did we learn nothing from last season? Of course. We have to end up being tortured until the last nanosecond of the game and barely win and finish. They finish on a 27-9 run. We almost blow a 94-75 lead. It goes from 94-75 to 103-102. God, this team, I swear. Caleb Martin hits his famous toe on the line two-pointer, and then we just decide to, let's just stop playing basketball now. Anyway, there was a lot of nice stuff in this game. Let's get to it. Okay, where should I begin? I don't know what to do. Like the Heat, it was Heat's first game of the season, but you know what? This is my first game of the season too, of doing this again. Should I read off my notes? Should I just go down the roster and ramble about those guys? I don't know. I'll just read through my notes. Just bear with me here. There is a lot to talk about. There's a lot to unpack in this game. It was oh God, I feel like there was multiple different games and storylines all packed into one game. Man. All right. Let's talk Tyler. First of all, let's not melt down. The big asterisk here for everybody in the NBA. It's the first game. All right. Very small sample size. I'm not melting down about Tyler not hitting shots. Did he force some shots a little bit? Sure. But you know what? No one else is taking shots. Kyle Lowry sure isn't taking shots. I mean, literally not taking shots. If Tyler was hitting his shots, we're having a very different conversation right now, right? And it'll fall. Tyler's shots will fall. Remember too, this is his first real NBA game since, game one of the playoffs. So, give the kid a break. The other thing I did like about Tyler is that, defense, pretty good, nice steals. What do you have, 3 steals? 3 steals? 3 steals. Heat go on a 9-0 run. Our defense is looking good. We have 4 steals at this point. Jimmy started off good. Let's talk a little Jimmy. Jimmy, kind of an ugly game. Did what he had to do. Kind of, helped willed the team to a win. 19 points, 13 rebounds. The 13 rebounds is a little misleading because a few of them were him getting his own rebounds and stuff like that. But Jimmy was fine. Jimmy, I swear, he makes things harder for himself than they need to be sometimes. Sometimes he'll have an open shot and I'll be like, Jimmy, shoot the ball, bro. And instead he'll take 2 dribbles and then shot fake twice and get a guy in the air and then get the crap fouled out of him, and then he has to go to the line and go 1 for 2 or maybe 2 for 2, and it's you had an easy shot right there. This is an unpopular opinion. I kind of wish Jimmy would shoot 3-pointers. You see him on his Instagram working on them all the time. I don't know why Jimmy doesn't shoot his jump shot more and why he doesn't shoot a 3-point jump shot. We've seen him do it before. The famous shot, you've seen the highlight a million times in that Bucks game where he does the step back 3-pointer. That's a jump shot 3-pointer. Yet then sometimes he does that weird kind of lackadaisical set shot 3-pointer that barely ever goes in. We only had 22 3-point attempts. Kyle's got to shoot threes. I think Jimmy should shoot a few 3-pointers, especially if he has that momentum and he can get that nice jump shot 3-pointer. He's strong enough and athletic enough to do it. Kevin Love, let's talk Kevin Love. Super nice game from Kevin Love. 28 minutes, 13 points, 10 rebounds, 4 for 9 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3. It's great. Hit some big threes. The thing with Kevin Love, it's how much do we have left of Kevin Love? How much mileage? How many 28-minute games are we going to be able to get out of him? Maybe a lot. Same with Kyle. Kyle played 32 minutes. And, and I love Kyle and Kevin Love, but like I sometimes with these starters, and maybe, you know, first game, I know, but something about them seems like a little stagnant. Maybe it's because they didn't really get enough preseason time. And then you have, you know, when you see these other guys like Jaime Jaquez, Thomas Bryant, and Duncan, you're like, man, I really want to see a lot more of Thomas Bryant and Jaime Jaquez. We'll get to those guys, but you know, Kevin was great. Kyle, you know, I want Kyle to shoot more, and I get the other argument that, you know, Kyle was a +4, even though everybody's hating on him. Yeah, he ended up being a +4, but the plus minus stuff, I don't understand that stuff. You see the name of this channel. I don't know what I'm talking about. Kyle was weird. Like he was like shooting a lot in the preseason games, and now he's just kind of going back to that thing where he's not really shooting at all. And I'm trying to be optimistic and say like, oh, well, you know, he's facilitating and he's, you know, putting the ball where it's supposed to be, and he definitely wasn't detrimental or anything like that. But if he's putting the ball where it's supposed to be, you would think he would have more assists. I mean, 0 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He did have 2 steals. 0 for 1 from the field when that even one attempt he had was barely a shot. But, you know, I kind of like when Kyle shoots a lot and is aggressive offensively. Once again, one game. Bam. Fine game, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. I like that he got to the foul line 10 times, 8 for 10. I said this the last video too. I don't want Bam to be so reliant and overly comfortable with that kind of, I love the mid-range shot. I love that chip shot, mid-range shot he does, but sometimes he kind of just relies a little too much on that, like, that fade. It's not even like a fadeaway. It's like that leaning back kind of shot he does, or that kind of like sweeping hook he does. I want to see an enforcer Bam. I want him to have that part of him too, where guys are like intimidated by him, because he's an anomaly enough of a player to where he's either going to have a bigger guy on him far away from the basket that he can go around and take to the basket, or he's going to have a smaller guy on him that he can shoot over. But I don't know. I want to see Bam like get in there sometimes too. The most impressive people in this game were our guys that came off the bench. Look, and Caleb clearly wasn't 100% healthy. He's got a lot of rust to get out. He's coming back from knee tendonitis. Don't worry about Caleb. I'm not concerned about Caleb. He'll be all right. But the big buzz going around right now is Jaime Jaquez. You saw my last video. I've been hyped on this kid ever since I saw him play in the Rico Hines Summer League of 2022. I was like, this kid is legit, and I'm so happy he's on this team. You know that he played well when he only played 13 minutes. He had 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals in only 13 minutes, and he's the person that everybody is talking about the most. So that was a very, very effective 13 minutes. Everybody wants to see more from him. He was even playing kind of hurt too. He was on a minutes restriction because of something with his groin. I think that's a guy who you're, maybe might be starting. Like, I don't know. If Kevin Love, if Kevin Love, eventually gets to a point in the season where he, God forbid, gets hurt, or maybe feels like he can't contribute in the way that he should be able to, and Jaime Jaquez really becomes that guy, dare I say he could start? I don't know. Remember too, we didn't even have Haywood Highsmith this game. We didn't have Josh Richardson this game. We got some interesting pieces. I love that he has 4 years of UCLA under his belt. He's a big dude. He looks comfortable out there. He looks confident out there. His footwork and pivot is ridiculous, really athletic. I can't wait to see more of this kid. Thomas Bryant, I think Jaime Jaquez has kind of overshadowed him last night. Thomas Bryant had just as good, if not better, numbers. 16 minutes, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal. Really, really nice. Great energy. I can't wait to see more of those two guys. Duncan, beautiful. Like I said in my previous videos, we have a Duncan Robinson 2.0 right now. Really happy with Duncan. 15 points in 22 minutes. And you're just seeing all this new versatility. The connection that him and Bam have, you're even seeing a connection between Duncan and Thomas Bryant, which is great. They're hitting each other on back doors. Duncan's cutting, Duncan's passing, Duncan's shooting. I keep saying over and over again, this versatility that Duncan is having is so beautiful to see. How do you maximize this depth, especially there's like a huge FedEx truck like blinding me right now across the street. So if this looks weird, that's why. How do you utilize and get the most out of this depth? What does the future hold for Kyle Lowry, and Kevin Love when you have Haywood, Josh Richardson, Caleb, Duncan, Thomas Bryant, Jaime Jaquez? That's half a dozen guys right there. I didn't even mention Orlando Robinson and Jovic. They didn't even play. As the season goes on, you might see this team evolve into something much different than we're seeing now. And I think you saw that in the game too. There was times in the game where you could tell that Spo is trying to just like figure out these rotations, and it looks kind of weird, and you're like, hey, what was that? I think Spo is still trying to figure this out, these rotations and the substitutions and the starters and all that stuff. There's so many options that they have at their fingertips. It's going to be interesting to see how these lineups and rotations evolve as the season goes on. We might see something very different within a month or 2 months than we're seeing now. I don't want to throw the starting lineup under the bus, but something seems a little stagnant with them. Because look, we did not start off this game well, and we didn't end this game well. But the part of this game that everybody was happiest with was these alternate lineups, especially with Duncan, Thomas Bryant, and Jaime Jaquez, because those guys too they're in a position right now where they're hungry. This is new for them. They're hungry, and then you have the other guys that are a little more, kind of taking their time, and they're like, we've been here before, and it's the Pistons, it's the first game, and we've been to the finals, and so there's kind of like dueling mentalities. Oh, also too, leave Drew Smith alone. I was like, wow, we got Drew Smith minutes. Wasn't seeing that. Drew Smith, he wasn't a disaster. He played 9 minutes. You might not see that much of him once Josh Richardson comes back, but he was fine. And people act like the world was ending when he checked in. Leave Drew Smith alone. God, and then what's crazy? You forget about Jamal Cain too. Like Jamal Cain didn't even play. Like, there's so many good guys on this team, and it's like, I'm going to go on a tangent here. Like, talk about the opposite situation for the Celtics. Like, I'm looking at this Celtics lineup here. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but you have Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Derek White, right? Listen to the minutes distribution: 39, 38, 38, 35, 32. That's a lot of minutes for those 5 guys. And then who do you have coming in for them? Horford, who's far from his prime. And then after that, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, and Luke Cornett. I'm telling you right now, I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this Celtics game. I'm so glad we got this Pistons. This Pistons game is over with, and it's like we won. You got the kinks out, and hopefully, we can go to war. Hopefully we can go to war and beat this team and make the NBA establishment and ESPN and all them cry. The Celtics, they're lucky. They're lucky the Knicks were abysmal from the free throw line, or else they would not have won that game. Okay, back to this game. Let me hype up the Pistons team a little bit. I think they made a lot of improvements. This Cade Cunningham kid is phenomenal. 30 points, 9 assists, really impressive. They didn't even have, what's his name, Bogdanovich or whatever. I think he's going to really kind of anchor them and help with their discipline and organization. They had a ton of turnovers. I think we were beating them like 21 I don't know where the stat is, like 21-0 on turnovers to points. Isaiah Stewart's tough. This Alsar Thompson rookie kid, great on defense. Jalen Duren, 17 and 14. Cunningham was great. Killian Hayes was nice. They got a great coach. They're really tall, really athletic. You know, I think they're going to be way better than last year. It's going to be really interesting to see with the Pistons, you know, when they go up against teams like the, you know, they're kind of middle of the road teams like your Hornets or your Hawks or your Bulls, Magic, Pacers. Those are the kind of games where they should really, really try and rack up some wins. But yeah, interesting, tough team, surprisingly good. And the Pistons had a ton of blocks. They had 13 blocks, but 16 turnovers. Heat, 11 steals. Also nice. This is where things get bad, okay? Caleb hits a shot. We're up 19 points. And then all of a sudden, Pistons go on an 8-0 run, cut it down to 11. Lead cut from 19 to 7. Then they cut it to 5. Heat timeout. 14-0 run. 6 minutes left. Heat need to close. Tyler Herro's 7 for 23 at this point. Heat up 4 with 4 minutes left. Cade Cunningham hits a 3. Now it's down 1. A 19-point lead cut down to 1. And this is something I wrote here that is not going to be something I wrote that, I wrote something needs to be done about the Heat starters. Or I should say Heat closers, because the starters were the same as the closers. But I did write something needs to be done about the Heat starters. You know, when I probably wrote that down, it was probably kind of based off of emotion. And I got to remember, it's one game. It's the opening game. They're still getting their rust out. This is why, you know, what you saw tonight from the starters is I kind of wish a little bit that they would take the preseason a little bit more seriously, just so you get, even if like Jimmy and that starting unit played for 10 minutes together, just to get your feet wet, get the rust out, get the nerves out. I know they're playing, you know, really competitive scrimmage games in practice, but it's different when you're playing against a team that you're unfamiliar with, in front of a live audience with cameras and a refs. It's different. You know, when you go a few months without doing that and then you do it, you can be a little rusty. And that starting unit just looked a little bit stagnant. But once again, man, when you have these young, hungry guys like this Jaquez and Bryant, and you're gonna have Haywood and Duncan, you might see some changes to or Josh Richardson. You might see some changes to the with the Kyle and Kevin thing. We'll see. I don't want to throw those guys under the bus just yet, because they are very important in their own way as well. Yeah, I have written here in my summary, it felt like a preseason game. No excuse for blowing that lead. That's terrible, disgusting, no excuse. Should we be concerned with Kyle not shooting? Too early to tell. I don't think he was that much of, he wasn't detrimental, but we need more out of him offensively. I want Kyle to shoot threes. Isn't he like doesn't he have some like crazy record where he's like an all-time three-pointers made by an NBA player? Isn't he like really high up on that list? Shoot threes, Kyle. I'm not concerned with Tyler. A little bit forced some of the shots, but if his shot was falling, we're having a very different conversation today. I'm really excited to see him against the Celtics. 22 3-point attempts. You got to pump those numbers up. Jimmy and Bam getting to the line, very nice. Duncan Swagger looking beautiful. Jaquez Bryant, weird minutes distributions, weird rotations. I feel like as the season goes on, Spo will figure that out. When it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm a trust in Spo guy. Yeah, look, he knows basketball better than me or you and everybody else, so that'll be okay. Bam, I was happy with Bam, but I still want more out of Jimmy, Bam, and Tyler. I want those guys to be, I want the league to be scared of those guys. You know, especially Bam. I want Bam to get into a fight. Like I want Bam to be scary. I want Bam to be an enforcer. I want to bully guys. And I love the mid-range. I love the chip shot. I love all that stuff. But I want to see him, you know, kind of bully guys a little bit too. I'm really looking forward to this Celtics game. That's the war upon the horizon that I'm really focused on. I'll do a much better video than this one That's kind of where my mind is more on the Celtics game. It's like I'm glad this was like an appetizer. It wasn't that good of an appetizer. We saw some nice stuff, saw some ugly stuff, but overall, I'm positive. I'm not freaking out about Kyle. I'm not freaking out about Tyler. The biggest takeaways are Duncan, Thomas Bryant, Jaime Jaquez. I'm not scared of these Celtics. Like I said, after those five guys who are playing way too many minutes right now, considering they're already kind of injury prone, especially Porzingis. Losing Grant Williams and Brogdon and Robert Williams, those guys were more important to that team than people think. They're lucky, very lucky they beat the Knicks. Shout out to Max Strus. Max Strus, huge game last night. Beat the Nets by 1 and 27 points and 12 rebounds in 39 minutes. He played the most minutes on the Cavs, had the same points as Donovan Mitchell, one of the best players in the league. Good for Max, man. Good for Max. Could have used him tonight. God, I miss Gabe and Max. I really do. But I don't know. Business is business. So that's it. It's not that great of a video, but my mind is much more on the Celtics game. But go Heat, 1-0. It was ugly, but got it done. And let's not blow 19-point leads anymore, please. Can we have like some games, just a few games at least, where we just kind of cruise to a nice victory and we don't have to like sit there. I don't what's that SpongeBob meme where he's like sitting in front of the TV miserable. That's just me, because I know this team well enough to know I'm like I know we're gonna win. I know we're not gonna blow this this lead. Like Jimmy and Bam, like they're not gonna let that happen. Bam had that great block in the end. Jimmy saved it. Jimmy and Caleb had a really nice defense on Cade Cunningham on that last shot, but like it shouldn't have to come to that. God. So I don't know. I'm rambling here. I think we're going to beat the Celtics. All right. I think we're going to beat the Celtics. I have a good feeling about this game. Go Heat. Let's go.